They started Clearview Washing LLC because a window cleaner never showed up. But that no-show sparked Fred Hodge's $2 million empire built from scratch. How did he pull that off?
Working with your wife. I wanted to hear, how do you work with your wife and how do y'all still love each other every day?
Both my parents, they have a lot of siblings, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs. I always kind of saw that growing up, and I always thought that was so cool. And like, I loved like their lifestyle and like being the boss and like creating jobs for people. So I was studying entrepreneurship. My dad was like, well, how about we start a window cleaning company? It was originally Clearview Washing LLC.
And so what are some of those right actions that you would recommend to people that are trying to grow their business?
Well, I think you need
Welcome back to the Built Local podcast. Today we have Fred Hodge from Clearview Washing on. How you doing today?
Good, Clay. How are you, man?
Doing great. I'm super excited to have him on. I've actually been watching their business from afar now for years. And so when he responded to my Facebook Messenger, I was pretty stoked about getting him on here. But for someone who doesn't fangirl about y'all like I do, tell us about Clearview. Tell us your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our 21st year. We obviously been around the block for a while now in the exterior cleaning. We're based out in New Jersey. We offer window washing, power washing, soft washing, roof cleaning, gutter cleaning. We even do shrink wrap and outdoor furniture since we're in the northern climate. And we also added on holiday lights, and we began chandelier cleaning.
Awesome. Okay. And actually, I saw a video of y'all's shrink wrap. How did that come about? As somebody in the South, I had no idea that's even a thing. So
Yeah.
how did that become a service?
Yeah, so everyone was doing the holiday lights, and I thought for a while that would be our holiday lights. And obviously, we've grown it tremendously, and it's been a great add-on service for us. It's never going to be holiday lights, but at the same time, it started with boats. It's big up in the Northeast or just in the colder climates when it comes to boats, and it's kind of like morphed into the exterior furniture game because nowadays people are buying all that teak, cast iron. They're dropping like some serious money on that stuff, and you want to get the full lifespan out of it. So you don't want it to go to crap over the winter. So people are willing to invest money into getting it shrink wrapped, where we basically fully encapsulate it with plastic film, and then we shrink it down with the heat gun, and we're able to make sure that it's nice and protected all winter long. It's nice and neat in the yard too, so it's not like an eyesore. And we even slap a Clearview sticker on there at the end saying that we'll open it up for free in the spring with purchase of any service. So if they call us for window washing or soft washing in the spring, we'll come cut it open and open it all up for them.
Yeah, you got a little backyard billboard going on there with the stick.
Exactly. So they see Clearview all winter long when they're in their backyard or wherever the shrink wrap's located.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I heard the story about y'all getting started. I'd love to hear it from you. I heard basically y'all were hiring a window washer and they never showed up, right? And
so this is a full-on family business too. So my wife is the CEO. My dad's one of the heads of sales. My mom works in the office, overseeing the office. And we basically, my parents, back when I was studying entrepreneurship down at Rowan University in South Jersey. And someone was supposed to go to my parents' house back in 2004 for about, I think it was $350, maybe 400, right around there, to clean the windows. And the guy didn't show up. He didn't call. He didn't anything. And we were like, whoa, like, how do you not at least like tell someone you're not coming? Like, and my dad obviously he was in corporate America working in Manhattan. And he was like doing everything he could to try to steer me away from that because he hated all the politics and the BS that goes on behind the scenes. And I come from both my parents, they have a lot of siblings, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs in the family. So I always kind of saw that growing up, and I always thought that was so cool. And like, I loved like their lifestyle and like being the boss and like creating jobs for people. So I was studying entrepreneurship. The guy didn't show up. And then my dad was like, well, how about we start a window cleaning company? That's what it was originally, Clearview Washing LLC. And we put an ad in the newspaper because that's what people did back in 2004. And we got like a client. And the first time we got this guy from Pennsylvania to come out, we basically said, you'll get the whole pay for the job. Just come out and show us how to clean windows. So he did. It was like a $600 job. He got the $600 and he taught us how to clean windows. And then we went to do one on our own. We had like a wooden ladder, which I don't even know if they sell those anymore. I remember I'm like swatting bees away from my head, and I'm like trying to squeegee in the direct sun. And I'm like, it was just total like fail. But we kind of were like, all right, let's get a proper ladder. Let's learn more. Let's kind of keep evolving here. And we started getting some jobs here and there, word of mouth. We were working real hard. We were making sure the finished product was great. And I would basically recruit some of my buddies, some of my friends from school. It was like piecemeal. But I still have like one of the original calendar books because we had like, it wasn't, the iPhones weren't really out yet. And
Yeah.
like, I had one of those old school calendar books where I would put in like the different details for each job. We'd work on like a Monday and then there wouldn't be a job until Thursday. And then I would do a job on Sunday. And then there was a couple guys that, couple companies we bought out over the years, and they were smaller, but they really helped like kind of get our baseline with our customer base down.
Yeah.
One guy, unfortunately, was terminally ill with cancer, so he just wanted to see his customers taken care of.
Yeah.
So he sold it for a very small amount, and he saw it was a father-son trying to like launch this thing,
Yeah.
and he sold us for some small amount. We kind of grew that, and then there was this other guy that I don't know what the deal was. He was like a figure skater over in like Switzerland, and he wanted to go back to go figure skating, but he had a window cleaning company, and he was selling it, and it was the right price, so we bought that one.
Yeah.
So we bought those two, and that kind of helped stabilize everything. And then we started adding on services. And then we got into power washing. And then we started offering gutter cleaning. About 10 years into it, so about 2014, we dropped the window portion of our name. We didn't want to be known as just window cleaners, so we just became Clearview Washing. And that's basically we kept like during that time too. Like I was 19 when we started the company, so like that for those first like 10 years, I was hustling and just trying to figure out like how do I hire people, how do I retain them, how do I get customers, how do I keep them, how do I do all that. We would even do like, can you do this? Sure. And I would like put myself all over the place. I learned like not far after, like don't take on other people's messes, don't go into other fields that you're not in, like stay in your lane. And then I met my wife, and she came from a family of entrepreneurs. She was in corporate America herself, and basically every day I'd come home and I'd tell her like about my day. Like she thought it was interesting, like because every day is so different, like it's never the same day as an entrepreneur. So I was always telling her about some ideas, like just normal conversational stuff. And she would always help me behind the scenes with different projects and whatnot. And she always jokes that like when I was at my bachelor pad, like she'd come over and there would be stacks of papers everywhere because I'd have like those, like you remember those like white papers and then the yellow and then the pink, and like you would give the customer the white one, and I'd have all the like the copies of all them.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, we got to get you on a CRM. And that's when I gave her a list of like 5 different the top CRMs at the time, and I'm like, please help me like pick one out. Like, I'm all about this. Like I want to get rid of all this paper. And she went into like the huddle rooms at the law firm she was working at. She was a paralegal, and she basically did like a demo with each company, and she was like, you know what? She's like, jobbers and one. And I'm like, all right, that's awesome.
Real quick, if you're a local business owner and you want to start getting customers from Google, you know how important Google reviews are. Every week, I talk to business owners just like you across hundreds of industries who know reviews matter, but never seem to have the time or the system in place to actually get them. That's exactly why I've spent the last 2 years building Review Harvest. We built it with a non-tech savvy business owner in mind, so anybody can set it up in minutes and start getting reviews today. It automates the process of getting real reviews from your customers, responding to those reviews, and repurposing them across your website and across your social media platforms. It's a set it and forget it software. You can get it all set up in about 10 minutes and you never have to worry about reviews again. We can integrate into the tools you're already using so you don't have to change a thing. You don't have to train your team on how to request reviews. You don't have to request them manually. You get customers, we get your reviews. It's simple as that. And the first play in our playbook is what we call a review reactivation. You probably have hundreds or thousands of previous customers who loved your service but never left your review. So a lot of times our users can double or even triple their reviews just in the first couple months of working with us when we do that review reactivation.
And here we are, like that was in 2016 or 17. So we've been with them 6 or 7 years now. Like a lot more than that actually.
Yeah,
so
8 or 9. Yeah.
Yeah, so the time goes fast, man. So obviously we've been with Jobber the whole time. She helped, and then once we had our daughter, eventually it was like she was going to go back to her job, but she decided, you know what? She's like, I don't really want to commute. We're on like the shore of Jersey, and she was working basically out of Princeton was her office, and she's like, I don't want to commute like an hour each way and have the newborn baby and someone else watching her. She's like, I'd like to like not do that and work for Clearview. So like she started working for us, and she was like kicking some serious butt, and like she was helping me with some more high level stuff that we eventually made her the CEO of the company, and really helps out. Like she's got her like set of like roles and responsibilities. I have mine, and then we obviously collaborate on some of the bigger stuff. That was pretty cool. So it's like working with my brother was part of it too. He was our ops manager, and he decided to buy a pool company where they do like restoration of the pools and then the pool maintenance. And he did that like 2 or 3 years ago. So he's his own entrepreneur now. But it was like awesome. Like my wife, my dad, my mom, and my brother, and like we're all working together towards like,
Yeah.
and here we are. We made the Inc. 5000 list last year. That was a goal of ours. We wanted to make that list, and we've kind of like really grown into it. We have like, I think the thing I'm most proud about is our employees in every department, from sales, office, in the field, ops, you name it, like across the board. Like I would put my team against any other in the exterior cleaning field. Like that's what I'm most proud of, and that's been pretty cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, and your reviews show that. Your reviews show you got great team members. Your reviews show you are an awesome family business. It's like if I have a kid that wants to be in the exterior cleaning, maybe I'll just get you to raise them. Would you mind that? On up to New Jersey and see how that goes. But no, actually, one of the first things I want to touch on was we live in a day and age now where information there's an abundance of it out there. If you want to learn how to hire your first pressure washer, you can go watch 100 YouTube videos about it, right? But back then, when you were getting started, you didn't really have 10 million YouTube videos to go watch and sort through. So how did you learn? I know you said y'all got that guy from Pennsylvania to come teach you how to wash the first window, but how did you learn not only the actual trade of cleaning the exterior of a home, but also the business side of things?
Yeah, so it really was a different day and age. Obviously, we still have like one of the books, like How to Clean Windows. Like there was a book that me and my dad both read. Like we started off there. I was also a big proponent on like constantly learning. I still am, and like trying to evolve with that and harnessing technology. Like we've been using water-fed poles since like 2005 to 2006. So like, yeah, everyone in the window game now is like all about that and they know it. But like back then, not everyone was. And like people are like, "Hon, you're gonna clean my windows with pure water and this pole?" And like they were made out of aluminum back then, so they were way heavier. So like it was a shoulder workout, like doing that whole thing. But I basically went to all the conventions and expos and stuff too. That was a big component of it too. I wanted to go talk with other business owners, other representatives from the companies that sell all the different items, see what's new, the latest and greatest, and kind of keep constantly involved. That's why we got into soft washing rather than just power washing. That's why we use water-fed poles, and that's we even dabbled in drones. I was looking at robots for solar panel cleaning. Like I've always tried to stay ahead of the curve when it comes to technology and kind of harness that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and what about, so you said first thing y'all did was put an ad in the newspaper and y'all got some people to sign up then. But after that, how did marketing kind of transform over the years? Where were you able to, was it the expos where you're like, hey, where are y'all getting all those jobs? And how did you stay in front of, like, obviously marketing's changed a lot in the last 20 years. So how did you stay in front of, like, okay, this is the new channel. I need to focus on Google now. I need to focus on whatever. How did you do that?
Yeah, so I've always like been like trying to get in the forefront of anything. So obviously like Google was around, but not as like prolific as it is now. But like I invested heavily in SEO from like day one, and I still do. Like to me, like I was like, all right, let's lay the groundwork so that yes, I'm gonna buy some leads here and there from Google and LSA and all that stuff. But like, how do I build this so I'm essentially getting free leads later on? And that's where I invested. Like I've been doing that ever since the get-go. I would have monthly meetings, go over each town, each service, each type of campaign and everything I want to do. And that helped us a ton. A lot of boots on the ground. I was doing a lot of like door hangers and stuff in communities. I would mess around with mailings. I always felt let down though when I did this certain advertising. Like they would promise you the moon and the stars, and you would think you're gonna get a 5%. Like 5% of the people would like call you, but they don't. Like if you're lucky, it's like a 0.5% most of the time. So, you learn a lot from that. Also started joining networking groups. That was huge too. I wanted to be around other business owners in other fields that complemented ours. Every networking group under the sun has a mortgage guy, has a real estate guy, has an insurance guy. But like, what about the ones that complement exterior cleaning? So like, where are the pool companies? Where are the window treatment companies? Where are the window installation companies? Where are the landscapers? Where are the, like all the stuff that there's a lot more synergy and like similar client base, auto detailers, the list goes on and on. That's what I was looking for. And we found a great group for that. And that helped us a lot too, kind of get the name out there, get people spreading the word for you as well. And that's a lot of the core stuff that we kind of started off with. And we've kind of evolved it ever since.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and most of the people that are listening to this are trying to start their home service business, or they already have their home service business and they're trying to grow it. And so if you had to like scratch Clearview, you can't take the name, you can't take the marketing, you can't take whatever, and you're going to start a new exterior cleaning business from scratch, what are kind of your first 3 marketing moves? Like, what are the first 3 marketing moves that you have? Let's say you have, you don't have zero money, but you have some money. You don't have all the money in the world, but what are kind of the first 3 marketing moves that you would make to kind of grow the brand new business?
Yeah, so like we rebranded a year ago, and I realized how important that was to have like a nice, crisp new image. I'm glad years ago we didn't go with like the typical, like you see a lot of times, the last name thing. I
Yeah.
don't recommend that for anyone starting off. I wouldn't use your last name. That works when it's like you're the Walmart or like one of those companies, but it doesn't necessarily work for the exterior cleaning. So I think the name in particular is huge, the brand, and like investing into that initially to get that up to ground. And I go back to the grassroots when it comes to the website and SEO, and really investing in that as well. I think that goes a really long way. And a lot of people have a hard time because it's not something tangible you can touch and see. It doesn't just like you invest this, now you get this. It's going to come down the road, and it's all how you play it. But you're investing in yourself and the company. And I think to me, that is huge. Before you buy fancy equipment or you invest in like even doing like certain Google ads or Facebook ads or any of that stuff, like I think you're better off like laying the brickwork for the foundation for something you're going to build in the future.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's so tricky with SEO because, like, with Facebook ads or LSA, you can see, hey, I'm spending $100, I'm getting X amount of leads, they're turning it into whatever. But with the SEO, like you said, it is delayed gratification. It's like, I'm going to make this page on the website, and I'm going to hope one day in 5 years we got 100 pages like it that are also bringing us a couple leads a month or something.
And in this day and age with social media too, that's free, and that's where everything's trending anyway. So like I would lean heavily into that, and I would make sure that I was on every single platform. Obviously the Facebooks and the Instagrams, but I'd also be on TikTok. I'd definitely be on YouTube. And the one that people really always forget and they kind of write off, and I was guilty of this myself, was LinkedIn. I thought LinkedIn was like everyone was like a 9 to 5 trading resumes like that. No, like this property, facility management, government people, purchasing departments, like whatever type of business owners, like 95% of the business world is on there, and you want to be engaging with them. It's a totally different experience, but I made it like a goal to like make sure I connected with X amount of people by the end of the year, make sure they were following my page by the end of this year. And now I got like 6,000 or 7,000 people that I'm connected with. We got like almost 4,000 people following the page. And now when I post stuff, now eyes are seeing it. So like I invested heavily. I'd be watching the Yankees, hoping Judge would hit 60 home runs, and I'd be like, all right, how many property facility managers can I connect with tonight? And like, I wasn't wasting like business time during the day to do it, but I was like investing like some of my free time just to kind of do that as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's hilarious that you say that, because in you know how when you get on LinkedIn over 500 connections, it just says 500 plus. When we my college roommates and I had a basically a challenge to see who could get to a 500 plus, because we all took the same college class that was like create a LinkedIn, and we're like, all right, we're gonna race to 500, and that's what I would do, like watching sports or eating breakfast. I would just be clicking there like friending people. It's really easy in college too, because everybody's trying to make connections.
And you're doing it right when you start getting put in LinkedIn jail, when they're like, nah, you can't connect with any more people. Like, oh, all right, now I know.
Today. Oh, I love it. Well, talk to me about the Inc. 5000 list. I think a lot of people hear that and they're like, oh, that'll never be me, or that just like, oh, good for you or whatever. But what was that process like? Do you apply for that? Does that just happen, or was
there's a lot of criteria that goes into it. So like you have to provide, I think, tax returns for like the past 3 years, and you have to be generating more than $2 million in revenue. Okay. And it's a percentage of growth increase over the past like 3 to 5 years. Wow. And I knew that we were growing. I knew that we reached a $2 million mark. And I knew that like I was super proud of our team. So I was super excited when we landed that. And to be on the list of the top 5,000 privately held companies in the country, like that's no small thing. And to say like we started back in 2004 cleaning windows, and now we made that list, like that's something that like it wasn't just for me. Obviously it was on the vision board. It was something that like me, my wife, my dad, my mom, like we wanted to achieve this, but like we wanted to achieve it to bring it to the team. Like you guys aren't just working. This isn't just a job. Like we created a career for our our entire team here. And I want to make sure that like they can go home to their wife or their spouse and then like their kids. I'm like, I work for an Inc. 5000 company. And like,
Yeah.
obviously that ties into the culture and just everything else we're building here. But like, I want to make sure that like, as we're providing a career, it's special for the people that work here.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are some tactical things that y'all have done to implement that culture where people, it's a better work environment. People want to show up to work and people, you can actually keep people.
Yeah. So me and my wife coach through a platform that she created called the Process CEO. And like, that's probably one of the biggest hurdles is getting people off the truck. Like they get off for a little bit and then they get, like you said, they get sucked right back in. And it's funny because looking back, like now my team doesn't even think I can clean it. Like they're like, oh no, like you're not gonna go clean it with like you know how to do this. Like I go to like film content. And I'm like, give me that. I'm like, whoa, like you're gonna go clean this side of the house. Like, yeah, I am. Like, because I'm not in the field anymore. So it's like it's the polar opposite now, but it wasn't always like that. And you do get sucked in. And that's when you realize like at some point you gotta get out of your own way too. And like, what am I doing wrong? Like if you're out there firing people or people are leaving you, is there something broken in your hiring process? And if there's something broken in your hiring process, what is it? Are you bringing in the wrong people? Is it you? Are you not showing them the growth opportunities? Are you not providing for them? Every employee speaks a different, we'll call it a love language. So some of them, like, no doubt, some of them are about the money. Like, I'm not going to say they're not, but not everyone is. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. Some of them want like recognition. So like on Monday morning meeting for our field team, I read the Google reviews from the previous week. I want them hearing their name coming up in the reviews when I'm reading that each week and hearing their peers and their coworkers hearing their name and like clapping and enjoying it and doing employee of the month every month. So other ones want to know that like you got their back. Like, okay, this is a job and like we're not friends. But at the same time, like, I got you. Like, if someone's going to accuse you of something or something's going on or you got something in your personal life, you can come to me and know that I got your back. Because I know that you're giving me 150% each and every week. And I appreciate what you're doing to help us achieve the Inc. 5000 and help us reach the goals that we're setting. And I want you to know that we got your back. So each person is different, but by providing that hiring, and I used to hate hearing people be like, there's no one good to hire anymore. That's BS. That means you don't know how to hire. That means you don't know how to filter people out. It means you don't know how to ask the right questions during an interview. Like, are you lobbing them softballs and saying like, tell me a little bit about your last job? What are you looking for? Like, if you're just saying generic questions, then you're not going to learn anything. But when you start like asking more in-depth questions and asking like, well, what did you like most about your last job? What do you like least about your last job? And the answers are very telling. I had a guy that like, he was knocking out of the park. Everything was checking. Every box was being checked. And then I asked him, because like you want to get them to answer questions that they didn't plan on saying before they walked in the door. You know, like they can script it all out in their head for a generic interview. But like the one guy was like, well, what do you like less about your last job? Or what do you like most about your last job? He's like, I got to he was a security guard of one of those 55 and older communities. And he's like, oh, I got to stand around and hang out on my phone all the time. Instantly, I knew he wasn't for the company. And like, I'm sure he didn't plan on saying that when he walked in the door, but like everything else is going so great. And in my head, I'm like, I can't believe on the next question. And then I ended it. And then obviously we didn't hire him because every time you hire the wrong person, you're setting yourself back, you're causing headaches and you're costing yourself money. So like, listen, that all the stuff, just always room for improvement. We got a lot more we can do, but like hiring is one of the things that I'm most proud about and our company culture, which ties into that. And I think that's been huge for us. And I'd say over the past like 4 years, I think we've only hired one, maybe two duds out of the past like 4 years. Wow. So like that, I think that speaks volumes. And we retain our guys year after year. I'd say about 90 to 95% of our guys come back each year. So like when you're only losing one or two guys each season and then you can hire 4 more rock stars, you're growing, and then that helps you get off the truck. But I think also what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs that they get stuck into. So let's say it's not even the employees. I think they don't know how to get more jobs and grow. So now all of a sudden you don't have enough work for someone and you got a good employee and he's going to leave because you don't have enough work for him, and they get sucked into the truck for that. And you got to avoid that too. So for me, it was like learn the hiring and also get consistent work for everyone. And if you do those two things, you can finally get off that truck for good. And then people will start thinking you don't know how to clean stuff and you'll know you finally made it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one question that I heard that you ask on interviews that I love, and I want you to explain why you ask it, is I heard that you asked, what did you do yesterday? As one of your interview questions. Can you kind of explain why you asked that question on interviews?
Because it's so telling. Like, think about it. If like the guy was like, okay, like, if he said, I just laid on my couch and watched football all day, but you know what? That maybe this guy was hustling all week. Like maybe he told you previously in the interview that he's working 6 days a week. He's working 10 hours a day. And it's like, all right, that guy's hustling. He deserves that. But if it's a guy that's like maybe doesn't even currently have a job and he told you he just laid on the couch, like that tells you a lot about his personality. We even started walking the candidates out to their car just to get a little sneak peek with the inside of their car. Like, is it disgusting in there? Is there stuff everywhere? Or is it nice and tidy? And like, we don't tell them that. We're not prying in there. We're not sitting in their car. None of that. But like, we're just getting a little glimpse like that, because that's also eye-opening too. But I think just asking people what they did, it will open up like, well, did they play sports? Were they hanging out with their kids? Did they go to the park? Like, it tells you a little bit about their personality, their hunger, their like desires, and their what they enjoy doing. And I think that's useful in kind of feeding the circuit when doing an interview.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. Well, how many people are on y'all's team right now?
So we have approximately 26 people right now.
Okay, incredible. And so what if you had to tell somebody who's like struggling to make a couple good hires just so they get off the truck? What's like one or two things that you would say to definitely ask for in the interview, or a couple of things throughout that process to help you get off the truck and get those good guys?
So one of the tools that we use as part of the whole hiring process too is a software called HireBus. And HireBus is been terrific for us. So it's a personality assessment test. And that personality assessment test, it's got like, I forget the exact number. Let's just say there's 300 words. And the candidate is told to just check off every word that describes you. Even if it seems repetitive on certain words, like, well, doesn't this one mean the same thing as this one? Like, just check off, and not the person you used to be, not the person you want to be, the person you are right now. Click everyone that applies to you. And then it scores everyone on a scale to 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest on each role in the company, from general labor to ops manager to customer service, to outside sales, to inside sales, to CEO. And you see the scores. And generally, if someone scores a 7 or better in the respective categories, ideally 8, 9, or 10 is obviously the best, but like at least a 7, it's very telling. I made everyone in the company take this test after I got the software too. So like, no, I wasn't getting rid of anyone as a result of it, but I wanted to see where everyone fell. And like, I scored, I think, a 9 or 10 on outside sales. And my role at the time was lead generation. So I'm like, all right, good.
Yeah.
My wife scored a 9 for CEO. All my field guys scored 8, 9, or 10. My sales guys scored a 9. Everything across the board was great. There was only one sales rep that I had that wasn't doing that great, and he ended up scoring a 1 in outside sales. I'm like, I should have known. Like, if I would have known that ahead of time, I would have never offered him the position.
Yeah.
After that season, we kind of parted ways, and he actually enjoyed working for our company so much that he approached me. He said, "Can I work in the field?" He's like, obviously, I didn't work out with the sales, but I'd still like to be a part of the company. So like, I was like, wow. I'm like, that said a lot. And then I looked at his score, and he had scored either 7 or 8 in the field. I'm like, you know what? I think that's the right seat for you. And he came back, and he's been working in the field for us. So like, that's one tool for us that I think is definitely worth it in the hiring. And it definitely, again, it's not the end all be all, but it's a tool in the arsenal that like you use, and like you got a good pulse on it, we'll say.
Yeah.
You still got to see if the people do the phone interview, the preliminary phone interview. I mean, you want to make it a multi-step thing, because it's almost a little bit of a test. And if they can't follow through with the steps on your test leading up to the hire, what are the odds they're going to show up every day and do what they're supposed to? Like, very slim. So like, if you give them, my wife's big thing is like, all right, give me 3 days and times that work for you for a phone interview. Well, they give it to you. Now you reach out. Did they answer? Okay. Now you have a good conversation. You got a good feel. And that initial questionnaire or that phone interview is very generic. Like, okay, can you lift 50 pounds? Where do you live? Do you have a driver's license? What work have you done? Like, very generic on that one.
Yeah.
And if everything is checked off, then it moves over to an in-person interview. Well, do they show up when they're supposed to for the in-person interview? And I'm like, I asked them what time works for them, because I'm not trying to like dictate it. And ideally, I love the morning ones. I want them to see the rest of the crews here. And I want them to see like how everyone's working in unison to load up the trucks and get everything ready and head out and see the team. Because I think it's important for the culture too. And then from there, obviously asking the right questions that are no longer the generic like softballs or any of that on the actual in-person interviews. So if you do all those multi-steps, you tie it in with the hire bus, and you get to meet them and talk to them and ask them other things. To me, that's where you really complete the circuit, and that's where you really get to get hired from. Because to me, I want to hire good people. If I hire good people, they're gonna like what's the Richard Branson quote? Customers don't come first, employees come first. If you treat them right, they'll treat your clients right, and I live by that.
Yeah.
So I want to bring in good people. I'm not looking for the guy with the power washing experience or window washing experience. I'll teach them how to do it the Clearview way. If anything, they might bring bad habits to the team if they come with experience. I'm not ruling anyone out, but like sometimes that does happen. So I'm looking for just good people, and I'll mold them into whatever the case may be.
For sure. I love that. That's super tactical for somebody to take right now and say, all right, multi-step, hire bus, here's what we're going to do. So go take that and deploy it in your business, and tell Fred thank you later. But one other thing I want to touch on was working with your wife. This is a selfish question for me because earlier this year, my wife, Carly, I brought her on full time. She quit her other job and now she's helping us at Review Harvest. And so I wanted to hear, how do you work with your wife and how do y'all still love each other every day?
So we've established some rules over the years. So
Okay.
one of them is no business in bed. So like what I mean by that is like there's been times that I had something on my mind about business and I'd ask her and she'd be like, I gotta go to the computer, I gotta do this, that, and it gets her brain racing, she can't fall asleep.
Yeah.
There's been other times where she'd be like years ago, she'd be like, so do we have like 20 grand in the account? Payroll's being processed tomorrow. I'm like, no, you can't drop this on me right before I'm gonna close my eyes. Like this doesn't work. Like
Yeah.
Another thing that we do is we have clear roles and responsibilities. So we're not getting in each other's lanes. That's key too.
Yeah.
I'm all about collaboration. There's certain aspects you need to collaborate and work together on, but she knows I'm not touching the calendar. I'm not telling the office to touch it. I'm not doing that. Like I have done that a bunch and I got yelled at a bunch and I'm like, I'm not touching the calendar. And she's not trying to do lead generation. She's not trying to do other stuff that I'm doing as well. So like we have very clear roles and responsibilities. And then the last one, I always joke with her about this, but I do mean it. Like she works from the home office and I work from the Clearview office. Granted, obviously she's going to be available for their kids. We have a third grader and a kindergartner. And obviously you never know what happens at school and whatnot. So she's like only a couple minutes away from the school. And I think not being in the same room every day kind of helps too. It's healthy because I think obviously even with my, all of them, so it's not even just my wife, like my mom comes into the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but she works from home on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then she's supposed to work remote she's supposed to have off on Fridays, but she always gets sucked back in. She's like, I ended up working on Friday. And then my dad kind of bounces around, going to different events. He's shaking hands, kissing babies, doing all that stuff. So like he'll pop in here and there. So like we're never all in the same space unless obviously we have a meeting or it's coordinated or whatever the case may be. And I think that's helpful.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That's a really good insight. It's such a polarizing topic when you talk about, because like I've interviewed other people, actually pressure washers out of Texas I had on last week, and they were like, it has been the best thing for our marriage ever. And I'm like, that's great. But then you hear other people like my parents, specifically when I hired my wife and she started working with Review Harvest, they were like, oh, I couldn't work with your dad for 2 days, you know? So it's like, you never know where people are on it.
It is polar opposites. And like, listen, like when we go out on like a date night, like sometimes we start talking about business, but like, I always look at it like this, like if we both enjoy the conversation and like we're spitballing ideas or like different stuff that's happening, like there's nothing wrong with that. Like if one person doesn't want to do it, then I think it's wrong. But if both people are like, then we can do that, then like, why not? Like, we both like talk about like our vision and where we want to go and what we're trying to achieve. And like, there's a whole like what's going on now so that we're achieving that stuff. You know what I mean? So like, to me, like if both people are enjoying that, then obviously I'm not putting her on the spot for any type of like numbers or I need to this or that. Like it's just more conversational, like what's going on. And like, I enjoy, like we both enjoy that. Like even when we get mad at each other about all this stuff, we're like, we do love working together though. Cause like at the end of the day, it's relatable on both ends, like everything that's going on.
For sure. For sure. That's my favorite part so far has been that when we do have a really hard day, I don't have to go relive the hard day and tell her everything that happened because she's in the business and she knows it's been a hard day.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's just like, all right, we had a hard day, hit the reset button, go to sleep, wake up and do it tomorrow, you know?
Yeah. Even today, like one of our guys, we just got a bucket truck last week, an older one from like the cable company, but I knew it was going to come in handy for like our crews doing holiday lights and balconies and gutters and whatnot. And they were going over one of the major bridges in New Jersey and like the tire blew out. Luckily they got over the bridge, but like I sent her a picture of the tire. She's like, yikes. So I'm like, yeah, I'm dealing with this right now. So it's like, so there's always something, but she's in the loop. So like, yeah, I don't have to relive it again. She knows what's going on.
Yeah, no, I love it. Well, You said now, you're in charge of lead generation. We talked a little bit about content, which your content is beautiful. I mean, do y'all do all that in-house? Do you hire somebody to film your content, or do y'all have somebody that you kind of just
Yeah,
took?
so I was all lead generation until about 3 months ago. I
Okay.
finally took the leap. I hired Flash Consultant, guy Phil Richner and his
Right.
company, and they're fellow jobber people. And I've always loved all the stuff he's pumped out, and it always resonated with me. And my wife is a huge fan. She's like, "You got to talk to Phil. You got to talk to Phil." And
Yeah.
I sat down. We had lunch with a guy that owned and sold about a $50 million HVAC company in New Jersey, and we had lunch with him. And he was like, "Listen," he's like, he knows that we want to get to 5 million, and he's like, "I love all the stuff you're doing, but he's like, I really think that having a marketing company would go a really long way." And I at first, like, my pride and ego took a little bit because like this is like that's been my baby, not that I was on top of it, but you know what? Like I didn't have a precise marketing calendar when I knew I was doing this and that. I was more reactionary. Like we
Yeah.
got slow where I would shoot out certain campaigns, and I
Yeah.
would get into the weeds with maybe some operations or some other calls or whatever the case may be. So I was like, you know what? I'm like, let's do it. And we hired this company, and that's been awesome. I love working with them. It's kind of like having like a chief marketing officer, but obviously they're there for anything marketing I need. Like so, like we did a sponsorship with the local PTO for the town that I'm in for the schools. They've helped with all that. Like so, like anything marketing they'll help with, and that's been awesome. We do the social content. We hired a social media coach. Jobber flew me and my wife out to Denver this time last year, and they wanted like it was about 15 people that were high up in like Jobber like users and whatnot. And they wanted feedback on some of the new features they were unveiling, and like get feedback on like what we'd like to see, what would we change. And it was like just a 1 day event. We went out there for 2 days,
Yeah.
and everyone in that room, like we were like looking on like Instagram and stuff, like that guy's got like 1 million followers. That one's got 500,000. That one's got 600,000. And we're like in this circle at one point, and they're like, after the day was over, and like me and Christine brought up a lot of topics and stuff we want to change. And all of a sudden, all these people were asking us all these questions, and I'm like, this is cool because like it was all business, and I'm answering the questions. But like I stopped like halfway through. I'm like, all right, you guys are asking me and Christine all these questions, but you guys have like 500,000 to 1 million followers, and me and her are sitting here with 2,000 followers. So like,
Yeah.
what do I got to do? And then one dude's like, do you have a social media coach? I'm like, no. He's like, well, I think you guys are ready for one. And he's like, I think if you get a social media coach and she kind of writes all the scripts and you kind of have meetings with her every week and you tell her what you're trying to accomplish and what's happening, she could put stuff together. And then I hired a videographer that on retainer. So he comes out once a week to shoot me and Christine, her for the process CEO, me for Clearview. And basically I had a editor in the Philippines. So
Yeah.
I was able to basically piece it all together and come up with the social media stuff. And we devote 1 day a week to doing that each. But that's a big like proponent of like trying to get to the next level and trying to get the word out.
Yeah, for sure. And something about just being in those rooms with those other people, you're just like, it just kind of breaks some beliefs of like for y'all, they were asking y'all questions about stuff. And then you're like, well, y'all have millions of followers. How we do that? And
Yeah, I was like, whoa. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, what are you guys doing? And then they were like, since we were sharing so much and like it was so intimate, they were like open books too. They're like, well, this is what we do. This is how we do it. Oh, are you posting this many times, or are you doing it this time? Are you doing who are you using? What was the content you're producing? Like
yeah,
on and on. And like well, me and her had a blast. Like
yeah,
we decided to add an extra day into the trip to just go see Denver in general. And like the whole next day, we're like, that was awesome yesterday.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
that was like so cool to get feedback to Jobber and hear from one of the founders of Jobber, and then talk with all these influencers in the Jobber community, and then obviously find out all this information. Like that helped us like kind of keep going along.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well, if we go back into kind of the business side of things, I know y'all do commercial, y'all do residential, and y'all do like luxury residential as well. So walk me through kind of your split of like your commercial versus residential, and how you kind of tapped into the luxury and the commercial market.
Yeah, so obviously, like most people that start off with, we were like 100% residential initially, and for a while. I have always realized I wanted the upper echelon residential, but that's easier said than done. I wasn't always able to fill up my whole calendar with that, so I would take kind of what I could get. As time went on, we realized we were kind of missing the boat by not getting into commercial. We're already a seasonal business, being in New Jersey and offering exterior cleaning. So like I knew from December until March 1st, like that's our dead season right there. Like,
Yeah.
it's too cold. So if you're already dealing with 9 months, that's already a small enough like season as it is, but the residential is not calling all those 9 months. So it's like, all right, well, how do I get the commercial? And the commercial is a more extended season. So like you're getting that full 9 months out of the commercial. And how do I have it complement each other? Plus, I realized like if you kill it on a residential job and you knock it out of the park, you're going to shave hours off that job, which is great.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
kill it on a commercial job, you're shaving days off that job. And if you save days off that job, let's say you quoted the job for, let's say 15 days and you get it done in 11, those 4 days, you're not returning that money, obviously. And you're
Yeah.
also, you can throw residential on in there to
Yeah.
replace it. So it goes even higher. So like for us, it's like nowadays, last year for 2024, we were 70% commercial and 30% high-end residential. And this year, we might even hit 75% residential and obviously 25%. I'm sorry, 75% commercial and 25% high-end residential.
Wow.
It keeps creeping more and more that way. And at the end of the day, we realized that like our biggest contract to date, we just did last month. We got a $266,000 holiday lights job. And that was our biggest contract to date. And that's been awesome. And that was a government bid that we put in, we won. And now obviously I'm scouring every government opportunity where I got 2 commercial guys. We're going to every conference, event, everything you name when it comes to the homeowners association, apartment association, the building owners, you name it. Even low income housing, it's government funded, it's government funds. Like, so obviously those are commercial jobs and the customers are like, this is awesome. I didn't think anyone was ever going to come here and clean it. So like you got appreciative people on top of it. So at the end of the day, that's been really cool for us and something that we're just across the board in every type of commercial, from strip malls to universities to government to multifamily, you name it. We're trying to build that up, and that's where our bread and butter is nowadays, along with obviously the very high end residential. Obviously, we want to bundle our packages to a responsive bid. We want to offer everything, and basically, we want to make sure each crew is getting $2,000 a day, and we keep adding more crews.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Hey, real quick, before we get back to the video, if you're a local business owner and you're serious about getting more customers from Google, I want to invite you to our free school community linked down below. Inside, you'll get weekly coaching calls where I can personally help you one-on-one, so you're never stuck wondering what to do next to get more customers. Once you join, we'll give you a custom-built ranking report to show you exactly how you're ranking against your competitors, and then we'll even show you the next couple things you can do to start ranking higher. We do all of these reports manually to make sure they're done right. You'll get our 50,000 Google review script, the same script we've used to help hundreds of businesses get over 50,000 reviews, showing you what to say, when to request a review, how to follow up, and get that review without being annoying or awkward. And you'll even get a step-by-step checklist on how to optimize your Google Business profile to make sure you're ranking at the top of Google. Sometimes just making a few tweaks on that Google Business profile can be the difference between never showing up on Google and dominating your area. All in all, you'll get access to a community of business owners and experts trying to grow their business just like you. It's a safe space to ask questions and get more tailored one-on-one advice. It's 100% free. I don't have a coaching program or a course to sell you. Just click the link down below, join the community. We'd love to see you inside.
When it comes to getting those high-end luxury, I mean, do y'all just market and end up pushing saying no to a lot of lower end customers or pricing them out by y'all's prices, or do y'all have very targeted marketing campaigns to try and get those luxury clients?
It's a mix of both. And obviously being around like where you're going to get most, where you should be fishing for most of your jobs, where you're already doing jobs. So like your marketing goes way further, because this is the principles of marketing. Some people will tell you it's 7 touches. Other people tell you it's 11 touches. No matter what it is, it's a lot of touches before people actually call you. So like if you're already doing a job in the neighborhood and they see the yard sign, they see the truck, then you mail them something, and then they see you on social, and then they get an email or whatever the case may be. Like those are all touches, and that's helping a lot. Obviously we target towards the high-end towns in New Jersey. That's a big proponent of it. And basically we gear all of our marketing towards that. We also have minimums. So like we have a $399 minimum. We're not going anywhere for less than $399. So like that's going to weed out some of the people anyway. At the end of the day, like I'm not stopping people of less to get more stuff done. Like we certainly can do that. But I'm going to put my marketing efforts towards getting the people that are in the million and multi-million dollar home.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's kind of some strategy on the luxury residential side. But talk to us about how you landed your first, because I know you started all residential. Talk to us about how you landed your first couple commercial contracts. And if somebody doesn't have any of those yet, they're all residential, and they're like, what's the playbook? How did you get your first couple commercial jobs?
Oof, those are hard, man. So at the end of the day, like I'm pretty sure for years I was used. And what I mean by that, I was pretty sure I was used as like the third and final bid because they already knew who they wanted to use. And like, I didn't know how the game was played yet. So like, I was like, I got all excited. I'm like, here's a $20,000 bid. Here's a $30,000 bid here. Here's a $40,000 bid. I'm like, oh, my land, this is going to be awesome. This is going to keep my big guys busy for long periods of time. Like the whole 9 yards. And like, I wasn't landing any of them. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? And then I realized the game is really in relationships. And I started golfing in college. One of my professors, when I was studying business, he's like, if you don't learn anything else from this class, he's like, start golfing. And I'm like, I didn't know what that meant 100%. Obviously, I knew that like businessmen golfed and like, but I'm like, how do I turn Clearview into like getting business off the golf course? And sure enough, like I started developing relationships with all these property managers. I go to different golf outings. I'd be with those guys for 3, 4, 5 hours on a day. We'd have a blast. And by the end of it, they'd be like regional managers. And they're like, Fred, I can't get you any jobs, but I'm going to get you the bid opportunity for every possible one there is. So he's like, whatever happens after that happens, but I'll get you the bid opportunity for any, like if any of my managers, I got one guy's like, I got 70 managers. Other guy's got 50, the other guy 30. He's like, we'll give you all the bid opportunity. So like whatever happens from there is on you. And then you develop a relationship with the actual manager. Some of them might share the price. Some of them might be like, you're a little high, come down a little bit. Other ones might be like, I'm gonna let you be the third bid. Each one is so different. There's no like one end all be all, but at the end of the day, the relationships is what makes the difference. And like shooting the breeze, and I'm out there with like a bunch of other guys that I'm 41 now, but a few years ago, like when I first started getting the deals from it, I was probably like 35, 36. And like those guys had young kids too. Like it was so relatable. It was like, all right, how about we all like bring our kids to like the climb zone or sky zone and like let's jump around and we'll hang out on a weekend. Like let's have our wives meet and like do that whole thing. And like it was all relationship based. And that went a really, really long way. And that's when I started breaking down like that barrier where I was just being the third bid and I got way more up.
Yeah, that's awesome. I still think that like you're talking about being like a local legend or like a 5-mile celebrity or whatever they call it, where like people around you that are running the companies and all that stuff, they know about you, they know your family or whatever. It's such an underrated marketing strategy because
totally. I want everyone in Central Jersey to know Clearview and myself as much as possible. Obviously, I don't care about the rest of the country because this is where my company is based out of, and that's where I want the publicity and the and the brand recognition. To me, that's where it's key because I want it to be like you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Like I just want to like when someone's thirsty, I want them to be able to call Clearview and like, you know what, like I'm ready to get a soft wash. Okay, perfect. I'm ready for shrink wrap, holiday lights, whatever it is. Like we're here waiting, and I want to pounce on it once that opportunity comes.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on, because I mean, 'tis the season, it's coming up. I'm sure y'all are already gearing up or getting ready or already installing some. But let's talk about Christmas lighting. And I want to talk about just your thought process behind adding services in general. I think, like we know, a lot of times, you know, saying you're leaving money on table is a really dangerous statement because then you just start doing a million different things and you become a mess, right? But I think there's a lot of home service companies that do it extremely well. So walk us through your thought process when y'all changed the name from just window washing to Clearview Washing, and when y'all every time y'all thinking about adding a service, what is y'all's process to figure out whether it's aligned with?
Yeah, I never wanted to be what jack of all trades, master of none. Like I didn't want that to happen. So like there had to be some synergy between what we're at. And at the end of the day, for a while, I pushed back on the Christmas lights because to me, I had done it years ago with the incandescent bulbs, and like I put like 6 strands together, and then it blew the whole circuit, and then I had the voice lights. Like now LED is a game changer, and it's like a different world now. We finally added that on last year, and one of my sales reps was like, people keep calling asking us we do this because a lot of people in exterior cleaning do the holiday lights. And I kept saying no, and then it was last Labor Day. I was about to leave. It was a Friday afternoon, right around like 4:00, and this guy's blocking me in, and I'm like, and that never happens where I'm located at my shop. Like I know Jersey's like very tight here, but at the end of the day, like our shop is not like that doesn't usually happen. And the guy blocked me in. I'm like, hey, can you move that? And he's like, hey, are you Fred? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, I'm Grant from Thunder Lightning. He's like, I've been meaning to touch base with you. He's like, we're a wholesaler for Christmas lights. And I'm like, huh. So he gave me his card, and like one of the guys I was coaching at the time always talked about this guy. So I'm like, what a small world, because he's from Long Island. So like, it's not even around the like block. Like it's not that far distance wise, but like actually driving with the traffic, it's like 2 or 3 hour drive. So like, I was like, wow, that guy happened to be right next door to me. Like there's a wrap shop, so he was getting one of his trucks wrapped here of all places. So I got the card, and then that Monday I came in, and my sales rep was like, Fred, God, we had 3 people over the weekend as we're doing holiday lights. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, the stars align. I'm like, here, take this card. I'm like, let's do it. He's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. So I went back to the branding company that just rebranded us, Prolific, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And I said, can you do another version? And let's do Clearview Illuminations. And they basically took a very similar font, look, everything, but they gave me like the Christmas brand for it. So
Yeah.
we have Clearview Illuminations. We have the Clearview Washing. The evolution of the brand has kind of been what it is. Obviously, when I first came up with it with my dad, it was Clearview Window Washing LLC. People used to love to put the LLC everywhere,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
give you like credibility.
Yeah.
And I had like a guy that I think it was like a graphic design student down at Rowan University. I was trying to utilize my resources. He was like a younger guy. I didn't pay that much for it. That got us off the ground. And then 10 years later, I knew that I wanted to get rid of the window portion. So I basically reached out to someone. They kept it pretty similar, but just got rid of the window portion. And then here we are. It was our 20th anniversary where I was like, I think this is getting stale. And I talked to my wife and my dad, and I was like, I'd like to explore this rebranding. So like we were on a call with Ryan Kettering from Prolific for about 5 hours.
Wow.
And he wanted to know like every aspect of like our company, what we do, what we stand for, where we're trying to go, what we're doing, like every aspect of it. And for 5 hours, we gave him everything. And at the end of the day, we had a whole bunch of different avenues we were going to go down. But we decided like our logo used to have like our guy's head turned as he was cleaning the house. And he was like, you know what? At the end of the day, he's like, let's just turn him around. He's like, let's give him a face with a smile. And
Yeah.
like, it's what like we're like, so 5 hours ended up being like just turn them around, but it's more than that, obviously. It's the actual name and the crispness and the cleanness of it. So
Sweet. But we always finish off basically by saying, like I said, most people are home sellers, business owners watching this. Most people watching this would kill to be, have a business of your magnitude and doing the numbers that y'all are doing. And I think a lot of them are willing to put the work in. They just kind of need some things to fall into place in their brain where they do the things that are required and doing the right actions, right? And so what are some of those right actions that you would recommend to people that are trying to grow their business?
well, I think you need like people to aspire to like go where you want to get to. And I think obviously like a coach, I think goes a long way. So like with the process CEO, like my wife whips me into shape. She whips our clients into shape too. Like, cause a lot of times people focus on the wrong stuff. They'll say, Clay, I'm busy. Well, are you busy on $15 an hour tasks? Or are you busy on $1,000 an hour tasks? And like, if you were to lay it out for a week, each task you do, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of them that you're like, you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. And we hired 2 virtual assistants using Ninja VA, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we took a lot off our plate. A lot of those $15 an hour tasks go to our VAs. And we obviously, we're all in with technology, harnessing AI. And just trying to see exactly what can be done. But I think it's important to have a mentor or coach helping to guide you, especially people that are where you want to go. And I always looked up to like Brandon Vaughn. Brandon Vaughn to me was like, all right, he did the 5 million, he grew it. I saw the company photo with like the whole team. And I'm like, that's been stamped on my head for years. And I'm like, I'm getting there. But I think a lot of people say they're busy because they're doing a bank run there and they're doing a Home Depot there. And they're not doing tests that obviously are high value. And I think that's where people get held up. And then I think people get thrown back into the truck because they don't have enough leads and they lose employees, and they also obviously don't know how to hire. And I think those are some of the crucial things.
For sure. That's really great advice. I think Fred's left y'all with a lot of stuff to think about, especially if you're in the exterior cleaning space. We'll have all of Fred's links down below. So we'll have link Clearview Washing. We'll have his Facebook profile. Any other links you want us to put down there? We can do the process CEO.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, but I can give you a whole bunch after, just so you have it, because obviously, if anyone's interested in Jobber, a Responsive Bid, Ninja VA, Hire Bus, I'm happy to share the links for all that stuff. And I'm pretty sure I have a discount code for all of them. So if anyone's interested with any of those, I am happy to share that.
heck yeah. Love it, Fred. Well, thanks for hopping on. Y'all make sure to click those links down below in the description or ask Fred any questions you have. And yeah, you have a great one.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Claire.